I'm often asked specific details about how I'm able to run a print-on-demand business into the USA from here in Australia. So in this video, I'm going to share with you a few things from behind the curtain to help you navigate selling into the USA much more simply. 10 years ago, when I was just getting started, I made the decision to sell into the United States because the size of a decent niche over there is bigger than the whole Australia population. On top of that, most of the suppliers were based in the USA as well, meaning that we had much faster shipping times and an appetite for print-on-demand products that was insatiable and still is to this day. So much so that in 2019, the print-on-demand industry was $5.9 billion and is projected to grow over 25% each year to be a $39 billion industry in 2031. Now, on top of the size of the population, there are tons of different niches with people ready to buy the products. What you will find, though, because of that, is that there's a lot of competition, predominantly, though, from people just starting out, which raises the question, is it saturated? It is saturated to the point of people taking action. But the problem is, a lot of them quit very quickly because they just don't have any idea of how to run a successful, profitable print-on-demand business. The trick to succeeding with print-on-demand is by having a step-by-step strategy that removes a lot of the mistakes. Yes, you can do it alone, but having a mentor allows you to remove a lot of those mistakes and helps you fast-track your way to profitability. Now, in this video, I'm not going to share with you the specifics of how to set up your stores, but more importantly, the settings you need to choose if you are looking to sell into the United States from Australia. Now, one of my favorite quotes is start with the exit in mind. Now, just a word of warning, nothing I'm sharing here is financial advice. It is for educational purposes only. Now, starting with the exit in mind means creating a clean and simple business that's easy to run. That means if it comes to the point where you're selling that business, you can wrap it all up, have all the bookwork sorted, and just hand it over, instead of having accounts everywhere and things just so disorganized that it would be one hell of a headache to even accomplish. Now, to start off on the right foot, you want to head over to the ASIC website. So that's the Australian Securities and Investments Commission. So what you're wanting to do is go to register a business name. Use the business registration service, and through here, go through the step-by-step process. Register your business. You want an Australian business number and a business name. Go next, anything else that applies to you. And then what you're going to note is that it's $44 for a business name for 1 year or $102 for 3 years. Continue the process and get set up. Now, in regards to the trading entity you're going to be operating under, will come down to your personal circumstances. So I strongly suggest having a talk to a trained accountant. This way, it's going to ensure that you're starting off on the right foot. But don't let this stop you from getting started if you don't know one or you can't afford one. Get in there, and as you start making money in your business, reinvest it into the business to make sure you get all those foundational elements squared away. Now, in regards to selling into the United States, you're going to need a marketplace in order to sell your products. There are two main ones that I focus on: Shopify with paid marketing, and then you have Etsy. They are different. Now, Etsy is a standalone shop front that you can create and run a store from within their platform, whereas Shopify is a standalone website that you own and operate. It is your responsibility to drive the traffic, whether through paid marketing or social media marketing. Etsy is an extremely low-cost way of getting set up. You can have a store running on Etsy for between $100 to $150 per month, which is extremely cost-effective when you think about starting a traditional business, because within that $100 to $150, it covers all the research tools, the design platforms that you'll be using, listing fees, everything you need to be able to start making sales. And the beauty with print on demand is you don't actually pay for the product until someone purchases from you. Then you have the money in your account, the profit in your account, of which the cost of goods goes to your supplier after you've made that sale. Now, on Etsy, you're going to want to make sure that your store is set up for the region that you're wanting to sell into. So in this case, here in my account settings, so to get there, we just come down here to the bottom left, account information, and then under the location settings, we've got the region. We want to set it there. The language, English US, and United States dollars. It's important that we're using the currency that our target region is using when they're seeing our products. Once you're happy with that, save settings. The next thing you're going to want to do is make sure that your Etsy store has the correct time zone for the region you're selling into. So to do that, come into your settings, options, and then this screen, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you've got the current time zone. Now, for me, I've always had it set to New York for my ad account, Shopify, Etsy, everything, so that everything rolls over at the same time of day. That way, my ad account is making sure that the money is being spent at the correct time of day for the region I'm selling into. Now, if you'd love my personal guidance and the step-by-step roadmap to creating a $5,000 to $10,000 per month print-on-demand business in as little as 2 hours a day, so you can create that time freedom and financial independence, then make sure you check out PODHacks, my coaching program. You can click it with the first link in the description below. There, watch the quick training, and if you love the sound of it, make sure you book a call with my team and I'll have a chat to you over there. Next up is your Shopify store. You're going to want to make sure that your markets are set up to correctly display the correct currency when you're selling there. So for the USA, Australia, and international, I have my rates set up. So from there, the next thing we want to do is come into general, and then in the store defaults, we want to make sure that by focusing on the US, we're using the imperial system. They haven't changed over to metric yet. So we want imperial, so pounds, and that's specifically for weight. And then we've got the time zone again set to that Eastern time, which is that New York time. Once you're happy with that, make sure you save those settings as well. Now, as you start making sales, one thing you're going to learn very quickly is that currency conversion can be quite expensive. Unfortunately, it's just the pay to play. By selling into the US, we're going to be collecting US dollars. So to be able to spend it in Australia, we need to convert that back to the Australian dollar. In doing so, you do collect fees, and it's incredibly frustrating. The way I've been able to manage it is by using a banking platform called Wise, and you can sign up to them from the link in the description below. They are one of the cheapest ways to get your currency converted across and keeping those fees to a minimum. It also allows you to hold different currencies into one bank account quite simply. These fees can mount up, so it's important that you're tracking them in your daily financials. Print on demand is a business and you need to treat it as one, so you need to make sure you're tracking your day-to-day profitability. Now, as you start scaling your business, you're going to need to be mindful of the sales tax for each of the different regions and states that you're selling into. Good news, however, unless you have economic nexus in a specific state, you won't need to collect any sales tax until you reach a certain threshold, which means unless you live or have a warehouse in a specific state in the US, you won't need to start collecting sales tax until you hit that threshold. So here, this is a really cool interactive map from TaxJar. You can hover over and see what the requirements are state by state. And as you can see, most of them are at least $100,000 annually that you'll need to accrue before you need to actually start collecting that sales tax. I'll link to this website in the description below as well. The good news is that once you do hit that threshold, there are simple Shopify apps that you can use that allow you to track those sales very, very easily. That makes your bookwork that much more simple. And there you go. They are some of the tips and tricks that I've picked up over the years of selling from Australia into the United States with print on demand. If you've got any questions, make sure you ask below and just get started. Now, if you want to learn how to sell print on demand products that go viral, then make sure you watch this video next. Good on you.